discuss global trade fears and much more. We're joined now by the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon from the Swiss Alps. And sir, thank you so much for joining us here on the program.
Thank you for your opportunity. Thank you very much.
Now, as you know, China is taking center stage today at Davos. We have Wang Qishan due to speak shortly. He will try to reassure investors that the trade deal is manageable, but the trade war is manageable. Your thoughts on the trade war? How big a risk is it to global growth?
I'm concerned about this ongoing trade conflict between two largest economies in the world, United States and China. And at the same time, I'm encouraged that President Trump and President Xi Jinping have agreed to resolve these issues through negotiation. Negotiation seems to be going on well. Last year, at the time of opening a Boao Forum for Asia, I was attending as a chairman of the Boao Forum. The President Xi Jinping made a very historic statement that the Chinese government and Chinese people will engage in trade and commerce in accordance with the global procedures and opening up their market as well as respect the intellectual property right. That was very widely and favorably accepted by the international community. Now it will be very important that those two countries engage in much more serious negotiations so that we will be able to enjoy the overall economic growth globally. And this is a very important one. And I'm concerned that basically global economy is now working now well because of protectionism and some other political crisis happening around the world.
Yeah, a lot of concern about the trade war, about the global economic slowdown, also about nuclear proliferation. We have heard that there will be a second North Korea summit, a second summit between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. But I think you'll also agree there hasn't been much progress towards denuclearization since the Singapore summit. So what would this second meeting achieve?
Never in the past, since the beginning of North Korean nuclear crisis, have we seen such kind of a very positive and exciting development of situation, particularly during last year. Three summit meetings have taken place between the leaders of both South and North Korea, and historical first unprecedentedly meeting took place between President Trump and Chairman Kim Jong-un. I am encouraged by the news that two leaders may get together around the end of next month, February. I sincerely hope that based on the lessons of the Singapore summit meeting June 12th last year, two leaders will come out with a much more concrete and detailed way to make sure that the complete denuclearization should be realized in a complete, verifiable and irreversible manner. It's very important that North Korea should take a strategic decision to dismantle all their nuclear weapons, materials, and facilities, show their trust and sincerity so that the international community can be able to respond favorably by relaxing sanctions as well as by providing economic and social support for people of North Korea.
Absolutely. That sincerity has to be showcased for any sort of progress in denuclearization. And Mr. Ban, as we continue our conversation, just want to bring up live video from there at the World Economic Forum where the German Chancellor Angela Merkel is speaking right now, no doubt addressing issues that she has to contend with, populism, fallout from what's going to happen next with Brexit, etc., the global economic slowdown, maybe the ripple effects of the trade war affecting Germany, a major economy that does a lot of business with China. And Mr. Ban, we have been discussing how this is a world in a state of crisis. All the issues you brought up just then, nuclear proliferation as well. And there's also the issue of climate change. Sir, how worried are you about climate change, about our warming planet?
According to the global risk report issued by World Economic Forum, Davos Forum, then out of three global risks which happened last year was, first of all, unprecedented extreme weather pattern, and second was a lack of mitigation and adaptation efforts to address climate change phenomena. After full 3 years since the adoption of Paris Climate Change Agreement, the progress report is somewhat mixed, particularly by the announcement of President Trump to withdraw from Paris Climate Change Agreement. United States has been a champion in addressing climate change together with China, and I sincerely hope that the U.S. will show a leadership for humanity. The climate change has been happening much, much faster than one may expect, and particularly the IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, announced last year again, October last year, that unless we contain the global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius, then the consequences will be serious, devastating, and therefore, while we are working for 2 degrees Celsius, we need to do all our efforts to contain global temperature rise under 1.5 degrees. What really makes me concerned at this time as a former Secretary General, then international community is now much, much more divided in terms of political and in other areas. Now, the international multilateralism is under attack, and a lot of talks about the protectionism, extremism, and erecting walls among the people. These really hurt the unity of international community. There are many global challenges which are requiring global solutions. Not a single country or organization in this world, however powerful, however resourceful one may be, cannot address these global challenges alone. We have to work together. We are all in this together. With the transformative transformation of science and technology, we are living in a small planet Earth. That we have to do much more. I am now working as a chairman of the Global Commission on Adaptation. Something
thank you
has
so
been
much.
done by mitigating.
Yeah,
Yes,
just wanted to
we have
wrap
to do
up
much
the
more
point that you
to
made, which is a really
adaptation.
powerful point. Yeah, it just, even though the world is so divided, we have to come together now to combat climate change, because this is something that affects all of us. Mr. Ban, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Ban Ki-moon, the former UN Secretary General, joining us live from Davos. Sir, take care and thank you for your message.